Hey friends, Red Specs Gaming here. Welcome back to part 4 of our Create series. Today we're going to take a moment and talk about different ways to transfer items between containers in Create. There are various things that you can use to get things in and out of boxes, how to move things around to get things off belts and on belts, and we're going to cover some of that today. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Okay, so how do you get stuff on and off belts? How do you move stuff, say, from this box to this box effectively? We've seen that you can put a hopper directly onto a belt, but there are nicer ways of doing things. So we'll start with the funnels. So a funnel, a regular andesite funnel, is some dried kelp and some andesite alloy. And that'll give you an andesite funnel. And what you can do is you can have a crate near, and it doesn't have to be at the end like this, it could be right here. But if you put a funnel on that, and let's say we put a funnel on that guy, and let's say we wanted to move diamonds from one place to another, if we toss those in there, as long as there's a funnel on there, you see it'll feed them out one at a time, down the belt, where they'll go to the other side, and into that belt. So if you wanted, say, things to be drilled or sawed, you could have the saw in the middle of this. You could put your logs in here. They would feed out of there, and they would feed into this side. And that would give you the ability to move items from there to there. But there is a nicer version of the funnel, and that is going to be the brass funnel. And to make the brass funnel, you, of course, had to have had brass. You had to have made electron tubes already and some dried kelp. And then you get your brass funnel. And the difference between the brass funnel and the regular funnel is if, let's say, we put a brass funnel down here and a brass funnel down here. Now you can see, let's grab these diamonds back. If you were to put the diamonds in here, it'd throw them all out as an entire stack. And that's the default behavior of that, is it would send them out as a whole stack. And it doesn't have to be the whole stack. You can actually right click and hold here, and then you could say, hey, I only want, let's say, 8 at a time to come out, right? So you could set that to 8. And then if you toss that in there, it'll put 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and so on until all of them had been fed onto the belt. So if you were running a specific, mix and you wanted it to come out at a certain speed, you could set that up that way. The other thing that's cool about the belt, the brass funnel, is that you can filter this. So let's talk about filters. Make a filter in Create. You simply put some wool and some iron nuggets together, and that'll give you what's called a list filter. Think of this as your andesite or your simple filter. And what you can do with this is if you right click on this, you can say, hey, let's say we only allow stone through this filter. You can tell it to either allow or deny, and you can tell it to respect NBT data or not, and you can clear the filter as well. So let's say we wanted to allow stone and torches but not diamonds through. So that's set to our allow list now, right? Stone, torches, diamonds aren't on the list. You can take that filter and you can put that right there. And now, if you come in here and we put all this in here, you can see what it's going to do is it's going to go through, and because we had it set to 8, it's going to put 8 stone at a time through, because that was in the first slot. And then it's going to come through, and it's going to let 8 torches at a time through. But it skipped right over the diamond because diamond wasn't on the allow list, right? And then, like I said, if we had that set to blacklist, let's say we take that back out and we come in here and we say the deny list. Of course, it will deny those, right? And so now if we take all of that, see, it's allowing diamond through now because I took the filter off. But let's put this filter back on. Same filter, except we've got it set to deny instead of allow. If we take that and we put all that stuff back in again, boom, 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 it's going to let the diamonds out and ignore the other two because they're on the deny list. So that's pretty nice. But there's a nicer version of the filter even, And that requires, of course, some brass instead of iron, and that gives you the attribute filter. And the cool thing about the attribute filter is you can set up a lot of neat stuff. So let's get some ingots in our life. Let's get some iron and some copper and some gold. And we've got ingots in our life now. And let me grab all of these diamonds back out. And what you can do with this filter is if you right click on this filter, you can add something to that list. So let's say we add some iron there. And then if you mouse over this, you can see here are the different attributes of an iron ingot. It's either got a forge tag of ingots. It's got a forge tag of ingots iron specifically. It's got a beacon payment tag. It's in the group miscellaneous. It was added by Minecraft themselves. But let's say we just wanted to say forge ingots. So you can scroll through till you get to the one you want. And then we can say add. And so now it's got that. But let's say we want to let more than just those through. Let's say we wanted to do diamonds as well, or all gems actually for that matter. Let's add forged gems as well to that tag. So there's a tag forged gems. If we mouse over this, it says it'll allow forge ingots and forged gems through. So we can say okay on that. And then let's get some lapis out real quick because lapis is a gem. And now if we come down here and we put the attribute filter up here instead, and we already have torches and stone in there, let's go ahead and put some, and in fact, let's scroll this back up to 64, any amount. That'll allow everything. Now if we throw all of this in here, you can see is it let the iron through, it let the copper through, it let the gold through, it let the diamonds through, and it let the lapis through. But again, it's not letting anything else through because they don't have attributes to match the attributes we set on that attribute filter. So those are your two kinds of filters in Create, and you can put these in various things, not just the funnel, but various things that take filters. Okay, so you can also do some filtering on the belt itself, not specifically to a container. And these would be called tunnels. And so if you come in here with some dried kelp and some andesite alloy double up, you'll get a tunnel. And what you can do with a tunnel is you can just slap that right on a belt. So like that. And the basic one is not going to do anything special for you. Let's say we threw this on here real quick. And you can see that'll just go right through. Mostly that's for covering the basic one. But if you come and you throw some brass and some dried kelp and another electron tube, now you can get a brass tunnel. Okay? And the brass tunnel, much like the other, is, let's get rid of that one. Much like the funnel, has the ability for you to filter it. See? If we take this other filter, the list filter, and we only allow iron in on the allow list, and you're going to want to put it on the side coming in because it will never deny things coming out. So this side really doesn't help you with anything as far as that's concerned, unless you do a multiple setup, which I'll show you in a moment. But so we're only allowing iron ingots through here, but this guy still allows all ingots and all gems out. So if we put all ingots and all gems out, you can see that stalls now. It stops them from going in because those aren't iron ingots. Whereas if we put it this way instead, it lets the iron ingots through and then it stops everything else. Right? And so that's a way to filter things on the belt themselves. So the other thing that a tunnel can do is act like a splitter. So here we have the tunnel in the same spot it was before, but now I have belt coming out from this side and belt coming out from this side, and you can see it created other sides on this now. And so now this can act like a splitter. And what we can do is we can then say take our list filter, and let's say we only want to let iron ingots come this way, but then we wanted to let diamonds come out this way. And we wanted to say allow copper to come out the other way. here, right? And so these are going to be the three things that we're going to put in here is the diamonds, the copper, and that. And then let's suppose that we have this set to allow one at a time. Okay, so with those filters set, you can now come in here and throw your diamond, your iron, and your copper in here. And you'll see, got this set to 1 right now. He's going to send the diamonds out that way. Let's go ahead and do any on that so it gets them all out at once. So the diamonds will come out that way. Iron should go straight and copper should go right. There you go. Just like that. You can also have it split without filters. So let's say we wanted to send iron out. Let's clear these filters here. Let's say we wanted to send iron out, but we wanted it to split iron 3 ways. If you come to the top here and look, if you right click, this will do a split. It'll do a forced split. It'll do a round robin, forced round robin, preferred nearest, synchronized inputs. There's different things in here that you can choose from. So let's say we just have it set to split, and we toss our iron in there. When it hits this, you'll see it splits that iron stack up 3 ways and sends them off that way. Okay. Let's say we want to do round robin instead. So here's round robin, right? And we're going to have this set its amount instead of sending the full stack out. Let's say 10 at a time. And so now if we put in there, it's going to send 10 each out of the funnel. And it's going to send the first one that way. And the second one will go that way. And the third one will go that way. And then the next one will go that way. And there's your round robin. It's basically going one at a time and sending them out that way. So there's different ways you can set this up to work for you and how you want to split your items and send them in which direction. And so that's the tunnel. Now, if you want to move items down, the chute is the way to go. And so a regular chute is iron ingots and iron sheets. And then, of course, there is a brass version, which is an electron tube, a regular chute, and a brass sheet. And then that'll give you that chute. And let's say we wanted to move this. Let's get rid of this. And we knew that we had stuff upwards, right? And we wanted to get it down. So let's use some stone to kind of build us up a little bit here. Let's say that our barrel is going to be up here. Here's our barrel. And we're going to put our barrel right there. And we want to get stuff down onto this belt from there. So let's say what we have, we'll just go with stone. Well, if you have a chute underneath that barrel, what it will do is it will drop one at a time or chunks at a time out of there and empty out whatever's in that barrel. And then, as you would expect, supposing you wanted them to go one at a time instead of all chunks at a time like that, you could replace that barrel with a smart chute, which is the brass version. And just like with the other, you can right click here and you can say, hey, only send one at a time out, right? And now when you put that in there, it's going to drop one at a time onto the belt. And this is a belt problem here. The speed of the belt affects how quickly this goes. So let's say we sped this up here. This is being our creative. Let's do that. You can see one at a time will then go, but it'll still stall because of the speed of these belts coming out of that chute. But there you go. So let's slow that back down. That's too fast. Let's make it 32. And we'll make these belts 32 as well. All right, so everybody's 32. There's still a little bit of a delay with the tunnel itself because there's a logic that happens in there, so be aware of that. The tunnel will be a slowdown in your system. Use them sparingly. And then just like with other brass things, you can filter this as well. So if we wanted to, again, say we only want to allow ingots and gems out of this, we could put a filter here. And then we could, you know, throw our stone back in there, and it won't drop them. But as soon as we start putting ingots and gems on there, you'll see it'll start doing that again. You see how there's that slight delay, so this allows them to stack up like that because of that chute there. So you want to keep that in mind, that will affect things. And once it gets through all that, let's change this up to any. It'll do full stacks at a time. See, everything falls through. So there you go. That's the chute. Lastly, let's say you had things coming down this belt and you wanted to get them off and move them onto another belt or another surface somewhere else. Let's say, for example, that we had a depot over here. Let's put it right here, for example, and you wanted to get some things off that belt into this depot. Well, there's another guy that you can create called the mechanical arm. And the mechanical arm is super useful because it can grab things off of one area and move into another area. This is going to require you've made your precision mechanism, have some brass sheets and some brass casings, and then you can make that guy. And we'll probably need some gearboxes and some cogs for this guy. So let me grab those. And let me get a cog. And what you can do is, let's say we put this mechanical arm and we right click on that. That's not what we want. We want to right click again, so that's depositing from there, and we're going to take from this section of belt, right? And then we can put him right there. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to put a hookup on that guy somehow. And like that. Well, actually, hold on. Let me look real quick and see if this has a bottom connection. It does not. Okay. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put a shaft and then maybe put you in like that so that you have the ability to put a cog here like this, right? And then you take your mechanical arm, then you're going to right click on the belt somewhere, say take items from here, and then right click on your depot twice until it says deposit items there, right? And then what you do is if you just hook this up to the side here, he's now got power, that's spinning, and he's ready to go. And so if we put anything on this belt, let's say we throw in some diamonds here, and they get dropped like that. When they come down here, hit that point of the belt, he's going to grab them off, and he's going to throw them in there. Like that. And let's move this to, say, filter one at a time. And then throw those diamonds back in there. And you see they'll come on down the belt like this. And he'll grab them, and the belt will pause. But it only pauses while he's grabbing, right? And so that's, I got to get that off there. And so things keep going. So if you get that off there, then the next thing that comes through, he'll grab. So as you can see, you can't put a filter on a mechanical arm. It doesn't take. But what you can do is you can filter the output of the mechanical arm, and then it will take. So let's say we wanted to put a funnel. Let me grab another funnel. Onto this guy here. You can take a funnel and you can put it directly into this guy like that, right? And then if we take your mechanical arm and let's say we tell him it to pick up from here and place into there and then hook him up, he'll put into that guy there. So let's say we filtered the mechanical arm now for, or not the mechanical arm, we filtered the funnel for just copper. Well, now if we drop gold in here, you'll see what happens when it comes down the line is he's going to ignore the gold because that's not what he's placing into something that only wants copper, so he's going to ignore the gold. But if we throw the copper in there, when that comes on down the line, he will stop and grab it and put that into the funnel. There you go. And then the funnel will read, of course, onto this guy here. And there you go. So that's how you would filter your mechanical arm. All right, well, that covers the basics of item transferring between various containers in Create. There might be some more stuff for us to cover later on, but that's the basics that you'll be using towards the start of your Create time. So I hope that was helpful to you. If it was, do me a favor, hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We like to do various videos like this, play different games on the channel, and it really does help the channel to have subscribers, so I appreciate it very much. So until next time, we'll talk to you later.